The fastest, the quickest, the most efficient are often the ones who are celebrated. The result-oriented mindset has led many of us to believe that success is a linear path and that if we're not achieving something immediately, we're falling behind. But the truth is that growth is rarely a straight line. The road to personal development, career success, or any meaningful endeavor is filled with twists and turns, detours, and moments of stagnation. Patience in the process allows us to endure the challenging moments, to keep going when the finish line seems far away, and to understand that the journey itself holds lessons that can't be rushed. The process of becoming who we are meant to be is filled with incremental steps. It's easy to overlook the small, seemingly insignificant changes happening within us because we're so focused on the big results. However, these small steps are what ultimately lead to profound transformation. The problem is that they often go unnoticed. We may not see the progress we want to see, or the results may not appear as quickly as we hoped. This is when patience becomes essential. It is the ability to acknowledge that, while the changes may be subtle and slow, they are happening. The seed takes time to sprout, and so does our potential. Patience reminds us that growth doesn't always show up immediately, and that's okay. There is also a profound strength that comes with practicing patience. It teaches us resilience. When we are patient, we learn to persevere despite challenges, knowing that the obstacles we face are not permanent. Patience helps us build the mental toughness necessary to continue when things get tough. It keeps us grounded and focused, even when the outcome seems uncertain. In a world that often pushes us to rush and achieve faster, patience gives us the ability to step back, assess, and move forward with intentionality. It's about recognizing that the time spent waiting isn't wasted time. It's part of the process of becoming stronger, wiser, and more prepared for the future. Part of developing patience in the process is understanding that delays are not always setbacks. Sometimes, what feels like a delay is actually a redirection, a course correction designed to put us in a better position for success. We may feel discouraged when things aren't happening as quickly as we'd like, but delays often give us the space to refine our skills, clarify our goals, and learn important lessons. When we rush through life, we may miss these opportunities for growth. Patience, then, becomes a practice of trust. Trust in the timing of life, and trust in the process of self-development. We may not always understand why certain things are happening or why our goals seem just out of reach, but with patience, we come to realize that everything is unfolding exactly as it should. One of the greatest challenges when it comes to patience is our own internal pressure. We often impose timelines on ourselves. By a certain age, we should have achieved certain milestones, or we should be at a particular place in our lives. These self-imposed deadlines can create unnecessary stress and lead us to rush through the process. But patience teaches us to let go of these arbitrary timelines. It helps us understand that everyone's journey is different, and comparing ourselves to others only hinders our progress. The beauty of patience lies in the understanding that it's not about achieving things by a certain age or in a particular way. It's about the growth that occurs along the way and the person we become through the process. This understanding is crucial because without patience, we often risk burnout or disappointment. We may push ourselves too hard, too quickly, without taking time to rest, reflect, or recharge. In our desire to achieve, we forget that our well-being is just as important as the goals we're working toward. Patience involves giving ourselves permission to rest, to pause, and to allow for times of reflection. We can't constantly be in motion without taking the necessary time to refuel. In many ways, patience teaches us the importance of balance. It teaches us to be kinder to ourselves and to recognize that success is not just about what we accomplish, but how we maintain our health and well-being in the process. Another significant aspect of patience is learning to trust that everything is happening in its own time. So often, we want to rush through the hard parts, to skip over the struggle, and to get to the end result. But it is in the struggle, in the waiting, that we learn the most valuable lessons. These moments of challenge are the crucibles in which our character is forged. Without them, we wouldn't develop the strength, wisdom, or resilience necessary to handle the success we eventually attain. When we learn to be patient in the process, we also learn to trust that the hard work we put in will eventually pay off. We start to recognize that the moments of difficulty aren't signs that we are on the wrong path. They are simply part of the process that will lead us to something greater. The process also requires self-discipline. It's easy to be patient when everything is going well and when progress seems to come easily. But true patience is tested when things are difficult, when progress is slow, and when the outcome seems far off. In these moments, it's easy to feel disheartened, to give up, or to settle for less than what we know we deserve. But practicing patience means staying disciplined and committed to our goals, even when the journey is hard. It's about having the courage to continue even when we don't see immediate results. The key is understanding that success doesn't come from one big leap forward, but from consistent effort, persistence, and the willingness to trust that every step we take, no matter how small, is moving us closer to our destination. Patience in the process also involves letting go of the need for control. We often want to control every aspect of our lives. How and when things happen, the timing of our success, the steps we take to reach our goals. But life doesn't always unfold according to our plans. Patience teaches us to release our need to control and instead embrace the flow of life, trusting that even in times of uncertainty, we are exactly where we need to be. It's about surrendering to the idea that we don't always have to have everything figured out. Sometimes the most important thing is to show up, do the work, and trust that the process will lead us where we need to go. When we cultivate patience in the process, we begin to understand that life is not a race. It is a journey, and every step along the way has value. Whether we're moving quickly or slowly, we are still moving forward. The journey itself holds lessons, growth, and experiences that will shape us into the person we are meant to become. Patience teaches us to honor the process and to respect the time it takes to grow, to learn, and to become. We are all works in progress, and the beauty of life is found not in the destination, but in the journey itself. When we trust ourselves, we see setbacks not as a reflection of our inability, but as opportunities for growth. The fear of failure often holds us back from even trying. But when we trust in our ability to rise again after we fall, we are less likely to let failure define us. Instead of viewing failure as a dead end, we begin to see it as a stepping stone on the path to success. Each time we fall, we learn something new about ourselves. We learn what works and what doesn't. We refine our approach, adjust our strategies, and move forward with more wisdom and strength. Trusting ourselves means knowing that failure is not the end, but simply a part of the journey toward achieving our goals. A major part of trusting yourself is also learning to silence the negative voices that often dominate our inner dialogue. We all have moments of doubt, where the voices of insecurity, fear, and criticism try to drown out our confidence. These voices may come from past experiences, from other people's opinions, or from our own fears. But when we embrace the power of trust, we recognize that these voices do not define us. They are simply distractions that keep us from moving forward. Trusting ourselves requires the courage to tune out these negative influences and listen to the voice of our true self, the one that knows we are capable, strong, and worthy of success. It means learning to trust that our dreams are valid and that we are deserving of the opportunities that come our way. Trust is also deeply connected to the concept of faith. When we trust ourselves, we are exercising faith in our own abilities and potential. We are choosing to believe that the path we are on is the right one, even when the outcome is uncertain. Faith and trust are not about having all the answers or knowing exactly how things will unfold. They are about choosing to believe in the process, even when we cannot see the entire picture. Faith in ourselves allows us to move forward with hope, even when we don't have all the answers. It is the quiet confidence that tells us that even if things don't work out as planned, we will be able to handle whatever comes our way. Trust is also what empowers us to make bold decisions. When we trust ourselves, we are not afraid to take risks. We understand that playing it safe may feel comfortable, but it rarely leads to growth. True growth happens when we push ourselves outside of our comfort zones, and this requires the willingness to trust our ability to handle the unknown. Bold decisions are not always easy, and they often come with their own set of challenges and obstacles. But when we trust ourselves, we approach those challenges with a sense of confidence and belief that we have the tools and resources to overcome them. Trust gives us the courage to step into new territories, to explore new opportunities, and to take on challenges that may seem daunting at first. It is the foundation of the courage required to live a life of purpose and fulfillment. One of the most transformative aspects of embracing the power of trust is the way it shifts our perspective on life itself. When we trust ourselves, we no longer view the world as a place of constant struggle or fear. We see it as a space of opportunity where we can learn, grow, and thrive. Trust shifts our mindset from scarcity to abundance, from fear to faith, from hesitation to action. We begin to see challenges not as roadblocks, but as opportunities for growth. Trust allows us to approach life with a sense of optimism and possibility, knowing that no matter what happens, we have the ability to navigate through it and come out stronger on the other side. It's important to recognize that trust does not happen overnight. It is something that must be cultivated over time through consistent action, self-reflection, and growth. Just like any relationship, the relationship you have with yourself requires effort and care. It requires honesty, compassion, and a willingness to learn from your mistakes. Trusting yourself is not about being perfect. It is about being real. It's about accepting your flaws and shortcomings and still believing that you are worthy of success and happiness. It's about having the courage to try again after you failed, the strength to keep moving forward even when the road is difficult, and the faith to believe that you are always evolving and growing into the person you are meant to be. In learning to trust yourself, you open the door to greater freedom and fulfillment. You stop waiting for external validation and begin to rely on your own inner strength. You stop seeking permission from others and start living according to your own values, your own beliefs, and your own dreams. Trusting yourself means taking ownership of your life, your decisions, and your destiny. It means understanding that you are the author of your own story and that you have the power to create the life you desire. Ultimately, the power of trust lies in its ability to transform your relationship with yourself and the world around you. Trust is the key to unlocking your potential, to embracing your true purpose, and to living a life of authenticity and fulfillment. When you trust yourself, you are no longer bound by fear, doubt, or uncertainty. You are free to soar to new heights, to take risks, to follow your dreams, and to become the person you were always meant to be. Fear and doubt are two of the most insidious forces that hold us back from living our fullest lives. They often disguise themselves as caution or wisdom, but they are in truth paralyzing forces that prevent us from stepping into our potential. Fear makes us hesitate, second-guess our decisions, and retreat into comfort zones. Doubt whispers that we aren't good enough, that we'll fail, that we should just give up before we even try. Yet, overcoming these emotions is crucial to our growth. Only when we choose to face our fear and silence our doubts do we begin to experience the kind of transformation that moves us toward the life we desire. Fear at its core is a natural response to uncertainty. It is deeply rooted in our survival instincts, a mechanism designed to protect us from harm. But while this instinct was necessary in a world full of physical dangers, it becomes a hindrance in our modern lives, where most of the threats we face are not life or death situations, but challenges to our comfort, our identity, and our future. The problem with fear is that it often operates on a false premise. It convinces us that the risks we take are far greater than the potential rewards. It clouds our judgment and magnifies the worst-case scenario, blinding us to the possibilities that lie beyond our fear. Overcoming fear doesn't mean ignoring it or pretending it isn't there. It means acknowledging it and choosing to move forward in spite of it. Fear loses its power when we confront it head-on. Every time we take a step toward what scares us, we demonstrate to ourselves that fear does not have the power to control us. The more we face our fears, the more we realize that they are not as overwhelming as we initially believe. We start to see that fear is often an illusion, a story we tell ourselves about what could go wrong rather than what actually will. When we stop avoiding what frightens us, we reclaim the strength and courage that reside within us, and we open the door to new possibilities. Doubt, on the other hand, often works in tandem with fear. While fear paralyzes us in the face of the unknown, doubt works to undermine our confidence, convincing us that we are not capable of succeeding in the first place. It tells us that we are not enough, that we don't have what it takes to achieve our goals, that we will never measure up to others. Doubt feeds on insecurity and plays on our inner critic, making us question every decision and action. It makes us hesitant to take risks and prevents us from trusting ourselves. But doubt is also a reflection of our deeper insecurities and unmet needs. It often stems from a lack of self-belief or a fear of rejection and failure. Just like fear, doubt is not something we need to avoid, but something we need to confront. To overcome doubt, we must first recognize that it is not a reflection of reality. It is a product of our mind's tendency to focus on the worst outcomes. In reality, we often have more skills, talents, and resources than we give ourselves credit for. Our experiences, strengths, and capabilities are enough to carry us through the challenges that doubt tells us we cannot handle. Overcoming doubt begins with self-awareness, recognizing when we are allowing negative thoughts to take control of our minds and choosing instead to focus on the evidence of our past successes. Doubt loses its power when we choose to remind ourselves of the times we've overcome obstacles, the times we've faced challenges head-on and succeeded. The key to overcoming doubt is recognizing that we are not defined by our limitations, but by our ability to rise above them. A major part of overcoming fear and doubt is shifting our mindset from one of scarcity to one of abundance. Fear often arises from a place of lack. Fear that there isn't enough success to go around. Fear that we will run out of opportunities or that we aren't worthy of what we desire. Similarly, doubt thrives when we feel that our abilities or worth are limited. But when we shift our mindset to one of abundance, we start to see that there is always more to be gained, that opportunities are endless, and that there is space for all of us to succeed. This shift allows us to step out of the paralyzing grip of fear and doubt and move toward a place of empowerment. Instead of fearing failure, we see it as a lesson, a necessary part of growth. Instead of doubting our worth, we begin to embrace our uniqueness and the value we bring to the world. Another important aspect of overcoming fear and doubt is taking action. Often we wait until we feel ready or until the fear subsides before we take the first step. But waiting for the right moment can result in a lifetime of missed opportunities. Action is what breaks the grip of fear and doubt. It is through doing that we discover our capacity to handle challenges, that we see that we are capable of more than we thought. When we move forward despite our fear and doubt, we demonstrate to ourselves that we are in control of our lives and our choices. The more we act, the less power fear and doubt have over us. We learn that the worst-case scenario is rarely as bad as we imagine, and even if things don't go as planned, we can handle it. The process of taking action builds resilience and confidence, which in turn weakens the hold that fear and doubt have over us. Another key to overcoming fear and doubt is surrounding ourselves with the right support. It's easy to let our doubts grow when we're isolated or when we only have negative influences around us. The voices we listen to, whether they come from within or from others, have a significant impact on how we view ourselves and our abilities. When we are surrounded by people who believe in us, who encourage us, and who uplift us, it becomes easier to quiet the voices of fear and doubt. The right support system provides perspective, encouragement, and reminders of our strengths when we are too clouded by self-doubt to see them. They help us recognize that fear and doubt are common experiences, but they are not insurmountable obstacles. They remind us that we are capable of moving forward, no matter how big the challenge may seem. Finally, overcoming fear and doubt requires patience and compassion toward ourselves. We will not suddenly eliminate fear or doubt overnight, and that's okay. It is a continuous process that requires practice, persistence, and self-compassion. We must be patient with ourselves when we falter and remind ourselves that growth is not linear. Fear and doubt may always be a part of our lives, but they no longer have to control us. With time, effort, and the willingness to confront them, we can learn to move through fear and doubt, using them as catalysts for growth rather than barriers to progress. The journey to overcoming fear and doubt is one of gradual transformation. Learning to trust ourselves, take risks, and embrace the unknown with confidence. Patience in the process is one of the most vital and often overlooked aspects of personal growth and achievement. In today's fast-paced world, where instant gratification is at the touch of a button, patience seems almost like a forgotten virtue. Yet true success and transformation don't happen overnight. They are born out of time, effort, persistence, and, above all, the ability to wait. Patience isn't about idly waiting for something to happen. It's about maintaining faith, staying committed, and trusting that progress, however slow it may seem, is happening. We live in a society that glorifies speed. In the journey of life, we often find ourselves standing at the precipice of the unknown, looking out into the vast expanse of opportunity and challenge. It is in these moments when fear grips our hearts that we are called to trust. Trust in ourselves, trust in our purpose, trust in the wings that have been given to us to carry us through the storms and the valleys and to lift us higher than we ever thought possible. We are all born with wings. These wings represent our potential, our dreams, our aspirations. But too often, we get caught in the web of doubt, insecurity, and uncertainty. We wonder if we are truly capable of flying or if we will fall flat on our faces. And yet, the wings are there, just waiting for us to trust them enough to spread them and take that first step into the unknown. It is not always easy. In fact, it can be terrifying. The world around us tells us to stay grounded, to keep our feet firmly planted on the earth. But what if the earth is not where we are meant to stay? What if we were created to soar? What if our true potential lies beyond the confines of what we have known? Trusting your wings is about more than just the act of flying. It is about having the courage to face the fear of the unknown and to embrace the possibility that you were made for more than what your current circumstances suggest. It's about stepping out in faith, even when the ground beneath you feels uncertain, and believing that you have everything within you to rise above it all. You see, our wings are not just metaphorical, they are real. They are the skills, the talents, the wisdom, and the faith that have been cultivated within us over time. But they don't work unless we trust them. The wings of our potential require our active participation. They won't flap on their own. We must learn to let go of the things that weigh us down, our past mistakes, our fears, the voices of doubt that whisper in our ears. and believe that we were meant to soar. When you trust your wings, you start to understand that failure is not the opposite of success. It is a part of the process. Every time we fall, we learn. Every time we stumble, we grow. And every time we rise again, we become more aware of the power that resides within us. It's not about being perfect. It's about being persistent. It's about continuing to move forward, even when the path seems unclear, knowing that as long as you trust your wings, you will be able to navigate through the turbulence and the headwinds. The world is full of distractions. It's full of voices that tell us we are not enough, that we can't do it, that we should stay in our comfort zones. But there is a still, small voice inside of you that says you were created for more. You were created to rise. This voice is your intuition, your calling, your wings. It is the force that moves you beyond your limitations and encourages you to stretch your wings and fly. Trusting your wings also means having the patience to wait for the right moment. Just as a bird does not attempt to fly when it's not ready, we must understand that there is a time for everything. Sometimes we must wait for the winds to pick up, for the timing to be right, for the conditions to align. But in those moments of waiting, we are not idle. We are preparing. We are strengthening our wings, building our confidence, and getting ready for the moment when we can take flight. Too often we rush through life, thinking that we must have everything figured out in the blink of an eye. We compare our journeys to others and believe that if we aren't where they are, we are somehow failing, but each one of us has a unique flight path. Some of us will take off earlier than others, and some will take longer to catch the wind. But the key is to trust that we will fly when it's time. And when that time comes, we must have the faith to spread our wings wide and trust the journey ahead. There will be moments when the winds are strong and the sky is cloudy. There will be moments when we are tempted to turn back, when we question whether it is worth it to continue. But let me remind you that the storm does not last forever. The clouds will part, the sun will shine, and your wings, if you trust them, will carry you through. We cannot control the winds that come our way, but we can control how we respond to them. We can choose to see adversity as an opportunity to grow stronger. We can choose to view obstacles as stepping stones that lead us higher. The winds will come, yes, but they do not have the power to determine our altitude. We do. Our wings are strong enough to rise above any storm if we trust them. And then there is the fear of failure, the fear of rejection, the fear of making the wrong choice. But understand this, fear is not a sign that we are on the wrong path. Fear is simply a reminder that we are pushing beyond our comfort zones. Fear shows us that we are on the edge of something new, something great. It means we are on the verge of growth. If we allow fear to control us, we will remain grounded, never knowing the heights we could have reached. But if we trust our wings, fear becomes fuel. Fear becomes the energy that propels us forward, that drives us to take that leap of faith. In trusting your wings, you are also trusting the process of transformation. Just as a caterpillar does not instantly become a butterfly, we must go through stages of growth, change, and sometimes struggle before we can truly take flight. The process is not always smooth and it's not always comfortable, but every stage is necessary. Every setback is a setup for something greater. Every moment of doubt is an opportunity to build your faith and trust. And as you trust your wings, you will discover something incredible. Your wings were never meant to carry you alone. You were never meant to fly in isolation. There are people in this world who are meant to fly alongside you. People whose wings complement yours. You are part of a greater flock, a greater community of people who are on the same journey, who are learning to trust their wings as well. When you trust your wings, you open yourself up to the power of collaboration, support, and unity. You realize that there is strength in numbers, that your flight can inspire others to trust their own wings too. The beauty of trusting your wings is that it is not a destination, but a journey. Every day, you have the opportunity to spread your wings a little more, to fly a little higher, to trust a little deeper. There is always room to grow, always room to soar. So as you stand at the edge of your own journey, as you look out into the vast unknown, remember this: you were created with wings. You were designed to fly. Don't let fear, doubt, or the weight of the world keep you grounded. Trust your wings. Trust that they will carry you. Trust that you are enough. And trust that when the time comes, you will soar. To unlock your full potential, you must trust in your own abilities and the wings you have been given. Trusting yourself is the first step to soaring beyond your current limitations and embracing the greatness you were designed for. Fear is not a signal to stop, but an indication that you are on the verge of something extraordinary. When you trust your wings, you use fear as fuel to move forward, knowing that each challenge is part of your growth and transformation. Trusting your wings requires understanding that the journey to greatness takes time. It's not about rushing the process, but about having the patience to wait for the right moment, trusting that every stage of growth prepares you for the next level. Trust is a powerful force that shapes the trajectory of our lives, yet it is often one of the most difficult things to nurture. From the moment we are born, we are called to trust. Trust in our caregivers, trust in the world around us, and ultimately trust in ourselves. But as we grow older, the act of trust can become more complex. We encounter disappointments, betrayals, and failures that make us question the very idea of trusting others or even trusting our own instincts. But embracing the power of trust is a necessary step in unlocking our fullest potential, and it begins with trusting in ourselves. When we trust ourselves, we acknowledge that we are capable of handling whatever comes our way. We stop doubting our abilities and begin to recognize the strength and resilience that resides within us. Trust is the belief that we have what it takes to move forward, even in the face of adversity. It means understanding that we may not have all the answers, but we have the wisdom and inner resources to figure things out as we go along. Trusting yourself is not a blind faith in perfection, but a deep-rooted belief that no matter what happens, we are equipped to navigate it. One of the most profound aspects of trusting yourself is the ability to make decisions with confidence. When we trust in our judgment, we stop second-guessing ourselves and start taking action. The fear of making the wrong choice often paralyzes us, but trusting our instincts allows us to move forward even when the path ahead is unclear. We stop waiting for certainty because we understand that certainty is often an illusion. Life is unpredictable and there will always be unknowns. But trust gives us the courage to take that first step, knowing that we can course correct if necessary. It frees us from the prison of indecision and allows us to take control of our own destiny. Trust also gives us the ability to embrace failure as part of the process.